All right, how do you find the coefficient matrix? We're about to get to the point. And I am not a fan of learning math this way. I believe that if you put the math inside what you're learning as you're going, it makes much more sense. Right now, it probably feels like we're running lines and no one's told you what the sport is that you're running lines for. But bear with me. I'm going to get what's called the coefficient matrix. And to do this, I like this problem because it's not set up clean for you. You first have to make sure all the variables are on the left-hand side, just like if you had a regular equation with just one variable in it. So this x3 is on the wrong side, so I have to move it over. So I'm going to subtract the x3, and I actually switched the sign here, so this should be an insert. Let me see. This is a plus sign right here, not a minus. Oops, not there. Just move it over. It's early, so I may make minus sign errors. I think I tell you often that it's very easy to make a minus sign error. Let's do this again. Let's put a plus over here. Plus over here. Okay, so now when I subtract the x3 over, I'm going to get a 5 on 5x3. So that fixes that. The next thing I'm going to do is line up all the variables. What I mean by that is it's a bookkeeping issue. It is such a bookkeeping issue, and that's not my strength. And you saw immediately I made a minus sign error. But matrices by hand is a bookkeeping issue. So you want to line them up so all the x1s are underneath each other. And notice I labeled my equations. I even label them when I'm taking tests because I have issues with bookkeeping. And most of us do. Most people are like me. They have issues with bookkeeping. So it's not skipping a step to label your equations and just be neat. 4x1, 9x1, and 3x1 all line up. Minus 8, a plus 8, minus 6. And here in the third equation, I don't have a 0. I don't have an x2 term. So I must make an x2 term by putting a 0. These are steps that are usually skipped by students. It's not worth it because it gives you an error and it's just a nightmare after that. Especially if it gives you an error where the rest of the math starts to become inconsistent and then you'll get more and more hung up. So set minus 7, and I go to equation 2 over here, I get a 5, the simplified equation, and then the 2. And they all line up. And then the right-hand side, I left it here so that you can see the equations rewritten. Step 3 is to form A. A is just the 4, 8, and minus 7 become the first row, the 9, minus 6, 5 become the second row, and the 3, 0, and 2 become the third row. That's the coefficient matrix. And you can see it matches up. And this is where I found out that I had made a minus sign error, transcribed wrong. And so we all make mistakes. And the reason I'm telling you that is even though I'm this careful with my bookkeeping, I still made an error.